That's right. Lauten Audio, LS208. Been waiting 2 years to get my hands on this microphone. Does it show? When it comes to a microphone that brings in all the awesomeness of a condenser microphone, the detail in the open top and detail in the bottom, off-axis rejection, cancellation of room noise, this has a reputation amongst content creators who know anything about audio as being one of the best microphones you can get your hands on. None better. Well, I got one. I'm going to put it up against the best of the best. We're talking about the Shure SM7B, the RE20, the SE4100, the Earthworks Ethos, and the LCT440 Pure. I mean, does it get any better than this? This is the Super Bowl of microphone reviews, and it's about to get real. Full disclosure, Lauten Audio did not send this to me for free to review on this channel. I did have to pay for this microphone, so with that being said, let's just go ahead and take a look at this microphone. All right, what is it? Let's see. That's the wrong screen. Here we go. This is the Lauten LS208 on the Lauten Audio website. $598 US Street. This is no joke. It is a noise-rejecting large diaphragm condenser microphone. Look at that. Even the website. Automated. Love it. Is there anything they don't do exceptional? Honestly, I'm asking. Comment down below if you've been disappointed by Lauten Audio in any way, because I'm curious if it's even possible. So let's look at the specifics and diagrams of this microphone. It says right here, it is an end address pressure gradient FET condenser microphone, 32 millimeter capsule. This blows my mind. Cardioid polar pattern. This thing is known as an elite microphone for off-axis rejection and eliminating room noise. And it's cardioid. I just did a review of the Logitech Blue Sona, which is a dynamic microphone, was great at off-axis rejection and eliminating room noise, but that was super cardioid polar pattern. This is only cardioid. And they're still able to do what they're able to do with off-axis rejection. That is insane. All right, let's back to the page. Frequency response is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Dynamic range is 135 dB minimum. Max SPL is 135 dB. And you can see all the other specs. Impedance 150 ohms. Self-noise level of 15 dB. Sensitivity, I'm just going to read this out because I like hearing my voice on this microphone. 5 MV/PA-46 dBV parenthesis ODB equals 1V/PA 1 kilohertz. And if you're not the Albert Einstein or Stephen Hawking's of audio, just know all of this is absolutely awesome. Awesome that they're able to achieve this. 48 volt phantom power, because it is a condenser microphone. You can see right there, that is the cardioid polar pattern. Frequency response, you see it right here. Look at that thing. That is flat, that is neutral, with just a little bit of excitement right up there in that you could see from 4,000 up to about, what is that, about 15,000, 14,000, somewhere in there. You get those double peaks right in there for some awesome detail at the top and just a slight roll off in its neutral form on the low end. So what do these dotted lines right here mean if you don't know what we're looking at? Those are the roll-off switches that you have here. It has a low pass and a high pass. And it's kind of like an airplane on a video game. So if you're new to audio or just don't know that much about it, it is kind of confusing when you hear high pass, low pass. High pass means a roll-off of the low-end frequencies, all right? So on here you've got two switches, a 50 hertz and a 120 hertz roll-off. And then you have the low pass switch, which eliminates the higher frequencies, which has an 8 kilohertz and a 10 kilohertz roll-off on the high end. That's what those dotted lines mean. So let's go ahead and test the switches real quick. And it comes with a pop filter, and they recommend you using this for spoken word. But for the switches, we're going to leave it off just for a second so you can hear what this microphone can do in its bare bones. All right? So let's test the low end first, which is the high pass filter, which is the low end roll-off. You guys with me still? This is what it sounds like when you engage the roll-off at 50 hertz. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. He puts pineapple on his pizza. Let's do the 120 hertz roll-off. This is the 120 hertz roll-off. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. He puts pineapple on his pizza. I can hear some plosives creeping in there, so I want to make sure I got good mic placement here without the pop filter on. Let's go ahead and put that back in neutral. This is what it sounds like with the 8 kilohertz roll-off. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, puts pineapple on his pizza. This is the low pass with the 10,000 hertz or 10 kilohertz roll off at the top. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, puts pineapple on his pizza. Kind of like that one. All right, so there we go, back in the neutral setting, and then you can kind of mix and match these to really customize your tones. There's so many different combinations. I don't want to keep you here for 10 days. Just know that this thing comes with 2 switches that can help you to seriously customize your audio, whether you've got a bassy voice or a real high-pitched voice or a mid-heavy voice. You can do some combinations that are crazy with this thing to alter the voice and have a consistent setting if you don't want to adjust anything in your Rodecaster Duo. And I don't think I mentioned this before, just so you know, it is in my Rodecaster Duo. Generic condenser profile and processing is turned off. So this is what it sounds like out of the box. And that was what it sounded like with those switches and its default settings out of the box. And you can see right there in the bottom, if it matters to you, it's designed and tested in Silicon Valley, California. Move my box so you can see what comes in the box. You get the shock mount right here. They hold nothing back with build quality in the shock mount. It is absolutely gorgeous and well built. Just there's nothing about this package here that you buy when you get it. From the case to the shock mount to the foam windscreen, the adjustable hard mount, the flight case, and yes, I mean that. That thing looks like a black box from an airplane. Insanely built and awesome protection. Wow. Why $600? Their basic approach is, all right, you're living in a house. You can't afford or don't know how to treat your room acoustically to get amazing sound. So we're going to build a microphone that will make you sound like you have acoustic treatment in your space. You can now capture studio quality sound in poorly treated rooms with the depth and clarity of a large diaphragm condenser microphone. And they nailed it. Let's go ahead and put the pop filter on now to see how it sounds and performs. Oh my goodness. This sound is so rich, so smooth, so relaxing. How could you not want to do a 3-hour podcast with this microphone? It just makes you want to go. All right, off-axis rejection, handling noise, plosives, sibilants. Let's get to it. Here we go. Plosives, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, puts pineapple on his pizza. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, he puts pineapple on his pizza. Handling noise, you just saw that as I'm handling it here. Shock mount is pretty good. I mean, bumbling and banging and tripping and snapping and grabbing it. That is some really good handling noise right there. Just bouncing it around. Shouldn't be doing that in a live stream or a broadcast, but exceptional. Just going to say that right there. All right, so there you go. Sibilants, seashells, Sally shells, seashells, slobber knocker. We're done here. That's a one-off. So there's your sibilants. And this is the Lauten Audio LS208 in an untreated room. As untreated as it can get. Hardwood floors, cabinets, kitchen, you name it. This is the worst of the worst. And this is what this microphone can sound like without any treatment whatsoever. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. He puts pineapple on his pizza. Say no to strangers. And don't talk to drugs. So let's go ahead and do some microphone comparisons, shall we? Let the rapid fire round begin. This is Lauten Audio LS208. And this goes for $598. End address, condenser microphone. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. And as I tell my kids every time I drop them off at school, say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten Audio LS208. This is the Earthworks SR117 condenser microphone. Goes for $199. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The SR117 for $199. This is the Lauten Audio LS208. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. And I tell my kids every time I drop them off at school, say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten Audio LS208. This is the Lauten LCT440 Pure. You're listening to Level Up with Mike Newman. I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten LCT440 Pure. Since the Lauten Audio LS208 has a pop filter on it, let's do it one more time with the pop filter. You're listening to Level Up with Mike Newman. I always tell my kids when they go to school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten LCT440 Pure with the pop filter. Palette cleanser number 2. This is the Lauten Audio LS208. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman, and I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten Audio LS208. This is the Rode NT1 5th Gen, and this is set to 36 dB of gain. Now, handling noise is going to be awful because it's not meant to be held, ever. All right, there's a big shock mount, but I don't have it. It's harder to twist and turn that thing around. I'm going to try and be as gentle as possible. So here we go. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. This is the Rode NT1 5th Gen, $250 XLR and USB combo microphone. Condenser, by the way. Palette cleanser number 3. This is the Lauten Audio LS208. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. Every time I drop my kids off at school, I tell them, don't talk to strangers and say no to drugs. I said that right, the wrong way. Wrongly? Rightly? Lauten Audio LS208. Next microphone. This is the SE4100 side address condenser microphone. This goes for $350. I have it set to 31 dB of gain, and yes, my light behind me just shut off. And you would have lights in this shot right here had I hit record the first time I did this. So we are so not professionals here. Shall we get on with it? You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. And I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school, don't talk to strangers and say no to drugs. Darn it, I said that right the wrong time again. SE4100, $350. On to the next microphone. This is the Lauten Audio LS208. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman. And I always tell my kids when I drop them off, say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten Audio LS208. This is the Earthworks Ethos. This is a $450 microphone. If you want it in the matte black, you can get it in the chrome for $399. And the address condenser microphone in the Rodecaster Duo at 36 dB of gain. Let's get to it, shall we? This is the Earthworks Ethos, and you're listening to Level Up with Mike Newman. I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school, say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. This is the Earthworks Ethos, $450. This is the Lauten Audio LS208. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman, and I tell my kids every time I drop them off at school, say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten Audio LS208. This is the Shure SM7B. You guys know it, tried and true. It's everywhere you see. This is a $399 dynamic microphone in the Rodecaster Duo at 60 dB of gain, as recommended by Shure for it to perform as it's intended. So let's get to it. Here we go. This is the Shure SM7B, and you're listening to Level Up with Mike Newman. I always tell my kids when I drop them off at school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Shure SM7B, $400. This is the Lauten Audio LS208. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman, and I always tell my kids when I drop them off, say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. The Lauten Audio LS208. This is the RE20, and I've got it set at 56 dB of gain in the Rodecaster Duo. This is an end address dynamic microphone. This goes for $450 if you want it in the matte black without the shock mount or anything, just the microphone by itself. Shock mount sold separately. And here we go. You're watching Level Up with Mike Newman, and I always tell my kids when I'm dropping them off at school to say no to strangers and don't talk to drugs. This is the RE20, a dynamic and address microphone for $450. Before I say one more word, I have one more treat for you. This microphone can get even better, and I'm going to show you right now. It's this guy right here. This is the Schultz & Brackle windscreen. This goes for $29 on their website right now, and this is supposed to level up their audio even more than the windscreen that they give you. And this is no joke of a windscreen right now. This ain't a cheapie. It's well, thick, finely made, but supposed to level it up. So let's find out. And now you're listening to the LS208 with this windscreen on there. And this one shocks me because even though I really loved the tone the way it was, there was some muddiness in there, but not a lot, not even enough to complain about. But whatever muddiness was in there, I feel like this scooped a good chunk of it out and brought in a lot of clarity. It just touches on something that rarely does a microphone do, where it just says next level. It does. It does, especially with this pop filter. So I know $600 is asking a lot for a microphone, but if you get the $600, spend the extra $29 to get this thing. I could definitely see someone doing professional voiceover work with this microphone. The noise rejection, the switches to customize your voice how you want. If you want high energy, low energy, you want to go long form content, you want to get high energy for shorts, you name it. This thing has so many different ways to sculpt and bake your tone to suit your needs. And when you get to this right here, which is just the windscreen and all the switches in neutral, this is magical. It pulls from the best of all the microphones. It's like a mutant. This is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of YouTube content creator microphones out there. Whatever you need it to do, it can do it, and it can do it well. Lauten audio, I mean, wow. I could easily see why people will say this is the best in the business, and there's not an argument to go against them other than personal preference. That's it. I know it's $600, but once you get it and you plug it in and you start using it, you'll just be like, of course it's $600. Of course. There you go. All right, those are my thoughts on the Lauten Audio LS208. Comment down below what you think of this microphone. Also, I'd like to hear your thoughts on which microphone you thought might have performed better than this microphone, where and why in that comparison, the rapid fire comparison. I'd like to know. And anyways, that's all I got, man. I don't want to end the video because I don't want to stop using this. This is it's just awesome. But I got to go. I'm losing my voice already. First video coming out of whatever respiratory infection I had, and I am starting to lose my voice already. I can feel it kind of wanting to go. So we're wrapping it up. But before we do, just want to give a special shout out to all my channel members. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. I appreciate your support. You guys are awesome. You're family, and you know it. And if you're not a member, it's okay. If you want to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notification bell, I'd love you just the same. Until I see you guys in the next video, I'm out.